Welcome back to the ESPN HOOPS HITS podcast presented by Tab. I am the Scope. I was going to call myself the Grub, but I'm not Grub. You are Grub. How you been, mate?
Nothing wrong with that. I reckon I've rubbed off on you throughout.
I've got a bit of grub about me, don't I?
Yeah, little bit of something. You actually. Nah, you're
Did I ever have
a nice
grub?
Guy. Nah. I think I probably tried 10 times. Too good a guy.
No, I always felt like going back to our playing days, I was putting out flames because you were so much of a grub and trying to calm down everyone else in our team. So,
correct. Everyone in your team hated me.
We'll see. This is what our relationship's now. You continually be a grub on here, and I got to calm you down and bring you back down to earth.
Well, I got this, mate.
All right, mate. In today's show, we're going to be talking about Alex Ovechkin. He does the unthinkable, and we're going to do the unthinkable. Talk some hockey for the first time this year. UCONN women's Huskies win their 12th national title. We'll talk about championship teams, errors, franchises. We'll also review the national championship game. That has been done and dusted, and one of your two picks won it. There you go. There's a little teaser if you haven't seen it already, or if you don't want to know the result, save it, watch the game, come back and watch us later. Tszyu returns with a victory. Grub or no grub, Ja Morant. We debate if Volk can make a successful return to the octagon. He's got a huge task in front of him.
Chance.
And we have some crazy quotes that have been thrown around.
What the Volk?
The Volk, the trainers, Dan Hooker.
Oh, you interviewed
Tszyu, last week. So I got some information around Tszyu before his win against Spencer over the weekend. But let's kick it off with Left on Red, as we do. And as I mentioned, this one comes from Icy Vert, which is the perfect name for an NHL topic. This one comes from Twitter. Alex Ovechkin is officially the greatest goal scorer of all time. So Ovechkin has broken Wayne Gretzky's record, but I just want to give you some information as well. So he is now the greatest goal scorer in NHL history, but he is not the greatest point scorer. Okay, so for people at home, they have a point system in the hockey, and that is for goals and assists combined. And sometimes assists are worth a few more points. So he's ticked the box. They thought this was the unbreakable. Really, Wayne Gretzky was, when you dominated at such a high level for so long, Alex Ovechkin is now the greatest of all time. I just want to go through some other. Is this one of the greatest feats, in sports history, especially US? We'll name a couple. So I don't think anyone's catching Jerry Rice. That is going to be very hard to get. He currently sits with 22,895 career receiving yards.
Wow.
I think Larry Fitz is the closest. We look at guys like currently probably Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson are putting up crazy numbers, but then you've got to do it for 15 plus years.
And what they've only been 2, 3?
JJ was before Chase. So JJ Jefferson, Jed has been in the NFL for 4 years now, but it's the consistency.
I wonder if they're on track.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be good to see if they get the same for 10 more years, where would they be at?
Yeah, that's a good point. And also with the extra game.
Yeah.
The extra game per year could really help them. And then also the extended chances in playoffs.
Yeah, of course.
That could help out as well. So there's a couple of factors. This one's crazy. Michael Phelps, 28 total Olympic medals, 23 of them gold. So not only does he win medals, he's the champ. 20. That's a high percentage.
That is actually ridiculous. I seen the photo. There was a photo the other day of him with all his medals.
How good does that look? I've seen that picture. That's one of the biggest flexes of all time.
Ever.
Carl Ripken Jr., 2,632 consecutive games played. Do you know I played 48 straight in the NRL before I was dropped? I was off my coach.
Really?
Nearly got 50 straight.
You?
Steve Kearney.
So Steve Kearney, if you're listening.
I was only 2,000 and roughly 400 behind Carl Ripken.
I was just about to say, you really put yourself in the same conversation. By the way, is he Superman? What's going on there? That is ridiculous.
That's disgusting. I know they play a lot of games in baseball, but wow, that's just like not missing a game. I remember like Eli Manning was really durable as well in the NFL.
Yep.
And here's another one. Wilt Chamberlain, highest points per game average in a season, 50.4. But if we listen to our mate LeBron, He's going up against janitors, going up against tradies, all that sort of blah, blah. So do you take some of these as seriously? Like, I think you consider, when you look at some of these records, Phelps stands out.
Yep, because he's the most modern.
And it's a professional era. Yep. Like when sports becomes professional, Greksky was sort of the back end, but then, hockey during a large portion of career was a proper professional sport where, that's all they do. Jerry Rice is another. Some really sort of big unbreakable records there, but Ovechkin.
Like for Ovechkin, speaking about longevity, he played 1,487 games.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's allowed. I think it was about 20-year career.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute, proper minute.
And when you're speaking, when you're getting reference to, when you're beating Gretzky's records, you're up there. But it was interesting to hear what you just said. I didn't know about the point system, which is a bit of a, it's a bit of a different one. But I will say, I read a little, what would it call, a paragraph saying that Alex had the chance to break the record 2 games ago with an open net. Didn't do it because there was no keeper in there.
That makes me like him even more.
Nah.
Grub or no grub?
Mate, whack it in there. Knuckle puck that thing, man. Far out. Mate, open net, that's what I'm shooting the most.
We'll see.
See, that's where we're different. You love that.
Yeah, no, but also I'm with you. I didn't score at the best of times, so you're right. If I get an open try line or an open net, I'm probably going to take it.
Right. Apparently it's called an empty netter. There's a bit of hockey slang.
There you go, a bit of hockey slang. Let's move over to basketball. I'm more familiar with this. This one comes from Facebook, and it comes from Slav Redlowski. Fought around and found out. So, outstanding effort at both ends. UCONN women's Husky win record 12th title. Dominant performance. It's a dominant program, and it's been compared to the likes of the New Zealand All Blacks, who have had really strong errors for consecutive errors over large portions of their dominance. The New England Patriots, are front of mind with what they did in the NFL with Brady winning 3 and then having a break and coming back and winning a couple more. The Penrith Panthers in the NRL, like you can't downplay that, where they are currently. And if they're able to sort of, right the wrongs of what the season have gone so far, that, they've got to be considered. And then my favorite, the Chicago Bulls, like that was a dominant little stretch. 3 in a row. MJ goes and plays a little bit of baseball, come back 3 in a row. Like that's
good.
An 8-year period basically where it's probably one of the biggest what ifs too, right? Like if he doesn't get, I guess it felt like he got bored with basketball for a little bit and all the stress around it. But some pretty big franchise to be compared to these franchises is a great feat for the UConn women's Huskies team.
Well, the producer Shab was saying something like they didn't lose a game for 11 years straight. Come on, man. 11 games, fair enough, but 11 years straight. And you sort of go back to, we can in the NRL, we could name many of the older teams. Look at what St. George done. 11 straight, wasn't it? Or 12 straight. But once again,
non-professional era.
But you don't say that to many NRL people back in the day. The Red V, man. They'll be up you for the rent, man.
Yeah, the OGs, they probably get into you.
And I fully understand that. But, that unbelievable team. Paige Buchers, she's going to be the number 1 draft pick.
Yep.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a lock.
Hearing all the comments of her teammates, she's the GOAT amongst them.
Yep.
Just got them up because they didn't have the best of seasons. Like they were a little bit up, a little bit down in form-wise. Yeah. And they said she got them through. But just when speaking about this for me personally, mate, I just think of the All Blacks. Just for such a long time being so dominant. The one thing I love,
different rosters, different teams, and that too. That plays a part of it, right?
But I just love them their aura as a country, like as a team, like just little things that you hear. Obviously, being around the footy traps, you hear what they do, and just little things like cleaning up the dressing room, leaving it in a better place.
The All Black way, they call it.
All Black way, I really like that, and they are very confident. They know what they're doing, but at the same time, they're so respectful.
Yes.
To everyone.
Yes.
You never really see any of the All Blacks carrying on Like, do they? Like,
No, they
they're
don't.
all just like
that's not a part of
gentlemen.
it. No dickhead policy. That's what they've got there.
And I definitely wouldn't fit in. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's why I never played rugby union. I stayed in league.
But no, that's just and they want to leave the jersey in a better place.
Yep.
You can sort of tell everyone who's played. So yeah, unbelievable.
All right, let's move over to the national champions for the men's. Your pick of the Florida Gators. You had them in the final. You had them beating Duke. Duke don't make the final. Cooper Flag, they bow out against a really good Houston team. But Florida get the job done. They're down by 12 at one stage. And then we got this message coming in from Twitter, and it comes from, hey, it's Julian for real. We just won the national championship. Oh, my gosh. What about – it's quite a random team, Florida basketball team to be following here in Australia. So he must be a diehard of surely both sports because Florida football has been really good for a while.
Maybe he's from Perth.
There you go. There you go.
Maybe he's a supporter of the Aussie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He might be his mate.
Yeah, could be. Might
be. But yeah, going back to Cooper.
Yep.
They call him. I've been reading Cooper Choke.
Cooper Choke. That's a bit tough.
I agree.
It's a bit.
But
tough.
he had I watched that game. In that game, he had two pretty bad moments.
Yeah.
The dying stages of that game, and probably cost him.
Yeah.
But in saying that, what I loved about him that it was something to do with a foul, a reach over foul, but then it was also something to do with getting to the spot where he's pretty much automatic. He didn't make it, but he said, "Look, the coach dropped the play. I was always going to go for it," and he sort of backed himself. But
had a huge season, lived up to the hype.
Huge,
nothing to be like he's got nothing to answer for. It's a different climate now, like college basketball compared to when even 5 or 6 years ago you'd pretty much have to stay for about a season, or probably a little bit further back. Now they're one and done. He's done his job. His stocks are as high as they've ever going to be. He's going to go number one pick. I want to give a shout out to Florida guard Walter Clayton, who he did his best work when it mattered throughout the season, and he's just went on a historic one, winning a national championship, and he skyrocketed up a lot of people's draft boards into the top 5 now. Got a bit of Jalen Brunson about him, I reckon. So that's a great story. Like Cooper Flag is still the dude, but what a great series from Walter Clayton, and probably took a while to get going in the championship game, but a great team performance by Florida.
It was an interesting game, wasn't it? Houston went out to a hot lead, 12-point lead. Houston coming off a big win, beating Duke. They looked really, really good, but then the Gators just got him. Got him in the end. What a win.
By the way, chuck us over the grub or no grub.
Okay, here we go.
This is for the semi-final too. So the celebration, they can knock Cooper Flag out. Hakeem Olajuwon, he's a legend of Houston basketball for both the college and also what they've done at the Rockets. They wouldn't let him on the court to celebrate with the team.
No.
Massive grub. Whoever the security guard was, proper grub.
Yeah, if he's watching, do you know who paved the way for these blokes?
Hakeem Olajuwon is a Houston great, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, arguably a top 3 center, or in the conversation for top 3 centers of all time. And they wouldn't even let him on the court to celebrate with the Houston team that had made their way to the national championship. So that was bad juju for Houston there. Now I'm just thinking about it. Bad juju. That's the reason they lost
it.
All right, let's go to Twitter. And this one comes from Kevin Valdo. What a comeback. Tim Tszyu wins a TKO in the 4th. Tim Tszyu makes a triumphant return. Can he go on a run now, or is it too little too late? I will say that I got the opportunity to, a really cool experience, go to his gym, watch all the sort of pre-lead up chat. A few of the boys got in the ring and at the Rockdale PCYC where he trains.
Love that.
Hit the pads. I could feel some nervous energy going into this one. There was a lot of chat, that was a make or break, and he goes out, and not only did he have to win, he had to win in emphatic fashion, and he's done that. And he's ticked that box.
This is what listening to boxing shows and boxing experts, they say when you've been stopped twice, like Tszyu has been, you go into fights different.
It's understandable.
You're thinking about getting knocked out instead of being the aggressor. And even though Tszyu was saying this isn't me, I'm sweet, deep down he would. I mean, he's not. He's human.
I think he said that after the fight, like he's trying to play it cool, but then at the end he's like, I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous.
And even in the first few rounds, I know he dominated in the end, but he got tagged a few times. Yeah. He's going to have to, if he's fighting Thurman, they're saying Keith Thurman, he's going to have to be better defensively because Thurman will make you pay. I feel he got tagged a few times. Don't get me wrong. a few nice body shots that open him up. But Thurman, he's a
Thurman's
class
a different
above.
beast. Yeah, he's a class above. He's getting a little bit older. I think it's a good fight for him now. We just seen Thurman's been on our shores. He fought Brock Jarvis, so there's a bit of a rivalry there now. He gets in the ring. There's all that chat. I think it's a good build-up. It's a good next fight. And if he's able to beat Thurman, then all of a sudden he goes from, danger of being just completely out of contention to getting back and then starting to, redeem himself and put himself back into proper contention for meaningful bouts.
Slowly work his way back into that conversation of, because now he's sort of, there's 3 or 4 people before him to fight the big dogs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas
he lost
before,
momentum.
he was dictating.
Yeah.
So, but in saying that, Hoz, if he loses to Thurman,
again, that'll probably be it.
well, would you say that?
Yeah,
And I know, like, when we say it, they're still going to be fighting, but we're going to be talking about the Volk.
Yes.
Similar equation.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
Volk's a little bit more ahead of Tszyu, but I just think, he still has to win this next fight.
Similar, like I don't think Volk's been a champion and defended his belt, but you're right. It's a make or break, and I think probably Tim's got a little bit more going in his side with age and experience, still an opportunity. So this will be a huge fight if he's able to beat Thurman. All right, let's move over to Twitter, and this one comes from Funak Kiss Stats. Funak Kiss Stats. There you go.
Nice.
That'll do. Funky Eye Stats. Have I got it? Let's go again. Funak Stats.
That's it.
It's hard
for the knack of stats.
For the knack of stats.
Abbreviated.
It's hard with usernames. You don't know, you can't just say someone's name.
Probably,
you don't know where the gaps
he's probably
go.
sitting at home going,
"You're an idiot."
Horo, what are you doing?
He's probably looking at me like this. Ja Morant. The NBA never cared about finger gun motions until Ja Morant did it. Grub or no grub, Ja Morant, gun fingers.
Well, I'm talking from Morant's view. He don't care. He's saying he's not a grub.
Yeah.
I feel with him, he does what he wants.
Yeah.
He does not care.
Yeah.
Every time I see him talk to the media, he doesn't care. So the NBA there are some people in sports that actually couldn't care less what people think of him. He's going to keep doing what he's doing. I feel there's a few people in the NRL that do that. They, like we all play the game with the media.
Just push it a bit.
And we all do it. But at the same time, there is actually some people. But I would definitely say that they're putting a bigger emphasis on him because of what's happened.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Well,
other people do weird stuff.
The histories, you got to take in consideration the history, right?
Do you though?
All the gun stuff. And it's the extended part of it. Like if you just want to do the little, it's that and it's pointing directly at the players. Now, the Golden State game where he was going off and Draymond was sort of taking the mickey out of him. Imagine if an NRL player during July went and was like firing.
You could
like
just say it's
we've
like
got we've got gun laws over here that prevent any of that stuff. So maybe that we can't even do that here in Australia.
What you're saying is if he'd done a pistol, he'd be fine, but because he's brought out the shotgun.
Yeah, he's bringing out. I don't even know what they call it because we're not big on guns here in Australia. But he's just not doing the little finger point like the Shooter McGavin. The Shooter McGavin's 6 again.
Well, what's the difference in the Shooter McGavin?
Shooter McGavin's nice and tight. And Shooter McGavin's shooting at the ball. He's shooting at opponents. He's going shooting at opponents like that.
Well, Shooter McGavin's shooting at.
No, he's shooting at the ball.
You reckon?
Well, we'll see Happy Gilmore too. Maybe he's changed his stance.
Yeah.
Imagine if Shooter McGavin goes from shooting in the hole to shooting at Happy.
Well, maybe then there's a good bit of investigation into him. But
could be fine for him.
On a serious note, though, I also feel when you're a professional athlete, you're also a role model for kids.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
When we put the serious hat on,
I don't like it.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't like it.
You don't want kids at Renown Oval going up to each other going like that. Like that's
there are so many cool creative ways you can celebrate.
Yep.
I just don't think that's it.
Yeah. What do you ever do any celebrations?
I don't think so. No, but I got early on in my career, same guy, Steve Kearney. I celebrated like during a trial game once for scoring a try. And I just like threw the ball in the air and carried on a little bit. And he said, never again.
So
he goes, calm down. It's just a
trial.
Yeah. So I figured that ruined it for me.
Yeah, I think I'd done a Steph Curry fadeaway once.
I feel like you're one of the OGs for that, ripping the badge. That was your go back in the day. Now they all do it.
I was just
Did you used to do that? You used to hit the
the Bulldogs badge.
Yeah, bang.
Back
Did they
up
do
to
that
it.
now? Yeah.
Well, I don't rip it. Like the Foxes rip it, everything.
Yeah, well, so the Fox does it, and then Critter does it, but then the Tigers boy, they do that, and then the claw as well.
Tell me you've seen Reece Walsh and the boys last week to the Broncos crowd.
Did they do it? Did they do it?
Yes.
No, I didn't see
Loved it.
That's the best.
Loved it.
Let's get on to a post that we put out throughout the week. Let's see what the fans think about the Volkanovski chat. We've got a message from Facebook, comes from Johnny Murray. Lopez is super tough and an all-round great fighter. Should be a great fight. The second one comes from Instagram, and it comes from Burrows Kawaran. Get in Adesanya vibes. Please don't add in the same way. Make or break for Volk. UFC 314.
Once again, back-to-back losses.
Yep.
And he was stopped. Getting knocked out obviously alters the way they approach fights. But if there's one guy that I feel he's still going to be in his attacking self, it's the Volk. It's what, like we said before, it's a big moment for him.
Yeah.
I really feel for his legacy. People are saying he's too old now. People are saying he's getting past it.
There's like a number in the UFC, isn't there? There's an age. There's some age, and he's right on it, isn't he?
I think no one's ever won a title fight after 35 or 36.
Okay, yeah,
or
something like
no
that.
one.
Yeah, something
so
like that.
The good thing is for the Volk is because Lopez is a grouse wrestler. He's going to go after him with the jiu-jitsu. The Volk brought in Craig Jones, one of the best jiu-jitsu defensive wrestlers, and the Volk, I seen one of his interviews. He said, "I'm learning stuff about jiu-jitsu that I've never known. Reason why people do why they do the fake stunts and stuff."
Yeah, well.
So he's obviously getting some knowledge about that, which is good.
That would have been handy early on in his career, though.
No, legit. He even said that.
It's funny how many different layers of fighting that you have to practice for. That's why I love the UFC mixed martial arts.
What do you think, Hoz, about this? Lopez has never had a title fight.
Yeah.
Volk's had plenty. He eats them for breakfast.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to come into it?
For sure.
Yep.
That's that championship DNA that, an up-and-comer and, can he, this is why you have these sorts of fights to see if he can go on and go to the next level. And this is a great stepping stone for him. I think in my heart of hearts, as much as it hurts to say this, I think this will be Volk. I think this will be Volk's last fight.
Last ever fight?
Well, I think so. If you lose 3 in a row.
If he loses.
Yeah.
You think he's going to lose?
And I'd like it too because I think Volk's going to be a really great personality, media personality. Do you know Aspinall said, I seen recently Aspinall was on a podcast and he was talking about Volk's cooking channel. So he's got his cooking channel.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Cooking with, and it's super entertaining.
Yeah, wow.
He's even invited Tapiria, how do I pronounce his name? The guy I lost the belt to. Anyway.
The recent one?
Yeah, the Spanish dude.
Yep.
Apologies on it. He's invited him to come on and cook him with Volk. And apparently it goes so well that people don't even know that he's a UFC fighter. It's just he's famous from his channel. That's what Aspinall was saying. So
really?
I think life after he's done so well, and he's a bit of a late bloomer as well, and then sort of hit the scene out of nowhere and just been an absolute champion for Australian MMA. I think this will be his last fight if he gets done for sure.
Do you know something also, just reading a little bit about Volk, do you know he's actually not really liked in other countries? He's a bit of a villain.
No, he's not.
He is.
There's no reason why that.
No, but I thought I was the opposite. I thought he would have been liked.
Yeah,
very likable guy.
Very likable guy. But yeah, I read. I could even see him being not even famous, being popular here, but doing commentary in the UFC overseas because he's such a good human.
Yeah, I agree. I actually love him, and he's a great guy. There's only one bad thing about him.
What's that?
We've got to get him over the Tab.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out.
That's our goal.
All right, let's get to the Pick 6 presented by Tab. This week we are going to be talking about the Masters, and we've got a couple of Aussies in really good form at the moment and in the market. So I've got the betting odds right in front of me for some of the big dogs. We've got Scotty Scheffler up the top at $5.50. Do you like anyone in particular?
Look, I think it's Rory McIlroy's time. What?
He just doesn't get it done for me, Rory. He hasn't got it.
Mentally?
Yeah.
What if he can finally get over this mental barrier?
I would love to see it. I don't hate Rory, but I just don't think he's got it in him.
Because physically, technically, he's outstanding. He's probably the best golfer
Yeah.
I would say.
Yep.
But in the moments, he crumbles.
Big moments, and big in majors, he's crumbled.
And it's happened to him for a long time. Yeah. And the so-called experts are saying that sometimes in golf you just can never get over them.
Yeah.
You know, missing small 2-foot putts can never get over for the next few holes. But it also won't surprise me if Scheffler goes back to back.
Yep.
First one since Tiger, 2002.
So Scotty 550, Rory 750. You got any value? I've got a little value. I might chuck.
Give me a little value.
You know what? I'm going to have a little piece on me because, you know, got that Aussie spirit.
Yep.
Anzac spirit. Anzac Day's coming up, you know.
Nice.
Very soon. Minwoo Lee, he won on the PGA Tour last week or the week before. You got to have a bit on Minwoo, don't you? Just he's at 34s. Ooh. And you can do that responsibly, of course. So only have to have a little bit. But I'm going to go the pairing of who you start. So I'll have a little bit on Minwoo. I've always just got to have a little bit on his name is not here, and it's escaping me right now. Got to have a little bit on DeChambeau, even though he's not in good form. And, his name is not here, but I'm going to have a little bit on Brooks Koepka as well. He just knows how to win. Even he can be in the worst form. Remember a couple of years ago, they thought he was done. The back was gone. And then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and has a really big tournament. So, a couple of live guys coming over. But, we'll have a little play on those two responsibly.
I like Ludwig Aberg.
Okay.
Always thereabouts.
Yep.
Always. Actually, that's a question I got, Hoz. Do you think the live boys and the PGA boys are they talking?
They are.
They're all good terms?
Yeah, they're all good terms.
So they're all sweet?
Yeah, they train together and they still practice together, I believe, a lot of them.
I was just interested.
Because I know I remember going into a major last year where it was actually Rory and Brooks were practicing, doing their practice round together. Yeah, so there's a lot of animosity between PGA and Live, but the players, they just get on and they get on with it. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
That's it for it, mate. Another big week. I'm really looking forward to watching the Masters. I love my golf playing.
Yep.
I love watching the majors. I'm not a year-to-year guy, all year-round guy. I'm watching, the Live and the PGA events that aren't majors, but the Masters, it's as good as it gets. And to see some of those greens where, they've got to make a two-putt, big occasions to save par, nothing better.
Come on, Rory.
You're on Rory. No Aussie. Cam Smith, 41s. Nothing?
I'm on Rory. Sorry, Aussie boys.
All right. No Aussie spirit there.